Hi everyone, my name's Hazel and I'm an author and a PhD student, and today we're going to be doing something a bit different. I kind of found my last video a bit depressing, I guess. It did actually kind of help me with PhD stuff, filming it and then watching it back as I edited it. It actually did help me find some sort of clarity, which is good since I actually have supervision tomorrow at the time of filming this, so that's great. But it was kind of on the more depressing side, so I haven't got any comments yet to say I made anybody sad, but just in case, today I thought it'd be a nice fun time to do this. So today, instead of a writing video or a PhD video or a miraculous video or a makeup video, we're gonna do a baking video, because this week over reading week I've been having like a low work sort of self-care week, and when I'm having a kind of week like this I like to do some baking. I found baking, or anything actually where I use my hands, really kind of soothing and therapeutic. So baking, playing on my Switch, on the PlayStation, drawing, dancing, any time where I'm engaging some part of my body that's not just my brain, it helps to relax me. I don't know why. So I decided for this video that we're gonna do some baking. Plus as well, England where I'm from is going into lockdown on Thursday, so people already are hoarding stuff. So this is probably gonna be the only opportunity I'm gonna get to bake stuff, because people start buying all the flour just in case there's no bread left so they can make their own bread. It's just stupid and manic. Like, I could maybe understand why people hoarded the first time, because this had never happened before. I understood why people were panic buying. I could get behind that since we didn't know what was going to happen. But everyone knows the supermarkets are going to stay open now. So this is probably the last chance I'm going to get to bake whilst we still have flour in the shops and stuff like that. So yeah, today we're going to make brownies because it's reading week and I'm stressed and I want brownies. So let's get started. Okay, so I have my iPad with the recipe. I've never filmed like this before, so I'm sorry if it's going to be bad, but I really wanted to do this. And I also really want brownies. I hope everybody's doing okay. This week hasn't been the best week on record, especially this morning with finding out about might be going into lockdown. I understand it's the best, but I don't really understand how the country can afford to go into lockdown. But I've tried to look at it positively in that I'm very, very lucky, like extremely lucky, in that my job isn't going to be affected by it. So I work as a note taker at my university, and universities are staying open, so that's great. I'm really happy about it. I'm just a bit worried about my younger brother since he goes to university in London. What's gonna happen there, because I think London has like an infection rate of 2, whereas most of the rest of the country are 1 or below. I'm not sure. But I've been trying to look on the bright side of things, and I hope, so I have another younger brother, I have 3 brothers in total. He's meant to be having surgery on Tuesday. I just hope it can still go ahead. He's waited like a year for this operation, and now they've finally got a date. Now we're going back into lockdown. So I don't know what's gonna happen. And I know we're definitely not the only people like this. And I know there are people who've got it so much worse. I'm so lucky to be able to keep my job and still earn money at the same time. However, in more fun news, I'm so excited. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. I managed to order one of the Colourpop Baby Yoda eyeshadow palettes. I am beyond happy. I love Baby Yoda, I think with all of my heart. Like, I just love him so much. Like when so the palette was launching, oh, what day was it? Like Wednesday, I think? I can't remember. And it was at 5 PM UK time. They're an American company, so I think it was 10 AM PST, which was 5 PM here. I was so nervous. It felt like, so I had booked to go to 17, the K-pop group 17's concert in London earlier this year, and it obviously didn't go ahead, it got cancelled. But obviously when they were booking the tickets, COVID wasn't really a thing, so I think I booked the tickets in December, November, the day they came out. And oh god, I had like a full-on panic attack whilst I did it, and then after I booked the tickets I had to go on a 2-hour walk around the entire town because I just couldn't talk. I was like, oh my god, I actually managed to get it. I couldn't talk. And when I nearly got home, this guy came up to me and asked me if I knew where a good barber's was. And I just stood there and stared at him and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Because I hadn't spoken for about 3 hours. Because I'm like, oh wow, it was just such an odd feeling. And I felt similar with the Baby Yoda palette. But like the other day I checked, it was still in stock. So either nobody wants this palette, which I don't know why, because I think it's a really good eyeshadow palette, Baby Yoda aside. I think it's really cool. Or they just have tons and tons of stock. Oh, it looks amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait till it arrives. It hasn't shipped yet, but oh gosh, yeah. That's another problem I'm having. Not trying to make the video sad, is the amount of online shopping I've done. It's embarrassing, honestly. But I feel like everybody's in the same boat, and I'm so lucky to actually have the money to online shop. I'm in the north of England, if you didn't know, and they've put us in tier 3 of lockdown. But the government, they've said they're going to pay 2/3 of everyone's wages, which, don't get me wrong, 2/3 is better than nothing. However, bills aren't going to decrease by 2/3, and people have been living on that 2/3 of a wage for ages, you know. It's not something they can do indefinitely. Plus as well, the government won't give children free school meals. So there's Marcus Rashford, if you're not in England, you don't know, I think he's a football player. Shows how much I know about him. I don't follow football. The only football players I know are David Beckham and Steven Gerrard. I'm not even sure they play football anymore. I think they might have retired. So it shows how much I know. But he has been advocating for free school meals for children over lockdown because there are so many children who live in poverty in England. Just people in general. But I think it's a really good cause, and he managed to convince the government to do it, but now they're like, oh no, we're not gonna do it again. Like, why? Okay, so in Parliament, if you don't know, if you're not from England, or you just don't know, because I only found out recently, there's like a cafe restaurant thing, probably more of a restaurant, where they sell like full meals to the MPs, and they still have to pay for them, but the prices of them are subsidised by taxes. So a meal that would normally cost about £10 costs about £4 because the price is subsidised. So bear in mind, these MPs earn a fortune. Like, why should their meals be subsidised when they're not going hungry and it's children who are? Like, what is that? Plus the Eat Out to Help Out scheme, like all the meals were subsidised by the government then, so why can't they do it now? They just hate children? Are they like gonna be like the child catchers from, oh, what's it called? From Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I love that film. It's been ages since I've seen it. Oh, I love it so much. That's one to watch. And because this actually has been a low work week for me, I've finally watched the entire first series of The Mandalorian. So yes, I know I love Baby Yoda, but hasn't seen The Mandalorian, I know. And honestly, not gonna lie, from a scriptwriter standpoint, The Mandalorian was okay. It's not the most compelling series. It got better as it went on, and I did kind of enjoy how a lot of the episodes were kind of more like standalone episodes, if that makes sense. It's a bit like Doctor Who when I was growing up, so when it had Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant in. The episodes were kind of standalone with a big finale that kind of brought it all together, but you didn't need to see every single episode to understand it. That's why I like Doctor Who so much. And when it was Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi and is it Jodie Whittaker now, the writing's not like that anymore, so I don't watch it anymore. I liked it when it was a self-contained story, so I like The Mandalorian for that reason. I did enjoy it for that. And I think, oh, my favourite episode, I quite like the finale. The finale was good, but I felt bad when a certain man died. I'm not going to say who in case you haven't seen it, but the guy who dies right at the end of the 7th episode, the penultimate episode in the series, when he dies. I liked the one where there was like a load of just civilians and they were trying to teach them how to fight, and there was the 80-80. And I liked the one where they went to the prison ship. That was a really cool idea. I wasn't a big fan of the first couple of episodes, but like episode 3 onwards, I got into it more. Honestly, if it didn't have Baby Yoda in, which is the reason I watched it, I wouldn't have stayed. You know, I'm not a big person for character-driven things. I am the sort of person who comes for the plot, stays for the plot. I talk about this all the time in my writing videos. It's either a plot-driven narrative or a character-driven narrative, and I think I'm in the majority who prefers a plot-driven narrative rather than character-driven. And The Mandalorian is plot-driven, but 5,000% I am there for Baby Yoda. And I guess as much as a national lockdown makes me sad because I don't know what's going to happen to businesses and stuff, in a way I've kind of been... I'm not grateful for all the people dying, I'm not grateful for that one bit, however, I have been able to get loads and loads of PhD work done. So I don't think grateful is the right word, and I'm certainly not happy about it, but it did give me the start I needed, because prior to lockdown I was literally doing nothing to do with my PhD, so it did kind of help me. So it's hard to describe really, but yeah, so I'm trying to look on the bright side. The only good thing about a second national lockdown for me is that I get more work done. The only thing I'm really worried about at the minute are my two younger brothers, with one of them in their university and the other one with his operation. I don't know what's going to go on there, to be honest, but I hope everything's going to be okay. It's just making me a bit paranoid. I didn't have the right size baking tin on the recipe, so I guess the brownies are going to be thinner in the recipe, so I should probably keep an eye on them when they're cooking. I'm not an expert baker. Has anyone else been watching Bake Off though? I'm not really sure who I like. I don't think I really like anybody. And when they did those brownies, does no one know how to make a brownie? Like, what? And I felt so fobbed off by that chocolate week. It wasn't chocolate week, it was like chocolate cake week. Like, so one of the things I used to love making was chocolate. So I always loved it on Bake Off when they did chocolate week, because you get to see other people make it, and I always found it so cool. But that was a chocolate cake week, not a chocolate week. So I was like, So I didn't really enjoy it loads, to be honest. Okay, so it's done, it's in the tin. I'm assuming I'm probably gonna have to cook it for less because my tin is smaller. That's what I'm assuming. So I've got to keep an eye on it. So the brownie's gonna be a lot thinner than the BuzzFeed recipe, but that just means I'll have to eat 2 at once instead of only 1. Improvise, adapt, overcome. I'll see you when they're finished baking. Okay, so the brownies are done. They actually did take how long it took in the recipe, even though the baking tray thing I used was a lot bigger. Theirs was a square tin and mine was rectangular, so but it still did take 20 to 25 minutes. It was quite a dense mixture. But these are all the brownies, they look so good. I'm gonna try this one, see if it's good. Look at all the chocolate inside, can you see it? It's melting, oh I love it. They're still slightly warm. These are good, this is a good recipe. If you're having a self-care week, you should definitely make them. Oh my god, that's good. Okay, that's all for today, and I will see you all next time. Bye!